What's up, guys? This is Adam Gillespie with Rancid and Sweaty Calves coming at you with yet another video. Sorry if there's a little bit of the sound in the background. That's my PC overheating. It's a whole situation. Once I get a headset and a microphone, that'll change. You won't have to hear that constantly in the background. But bear with me in the time being. Today I'm going to be covering this interesting article that I saw not too long ago where it says Zoe Kravitz says she was denied a small role in The Dark Knight Rises for being too urban. And I love the little tagline down here, and it goes, "And now she's Catwoman." Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to look up on another tab. I know I'm a bit crude with my work here, but I'm going to look up Zoe Kravitz net worth, right? Zoe Kravitz net worth. American actress worth $10 million. She has a net worth of $10 million. Okay, so Zoe Kravitz has a net worth of $10 million, a little bit more than I have. Let me look up parents' net worth. So we got Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet is her mother. Her net worth is $10 million. Let me see if I can't find her father. Zoe Kravitz father net worth, because it is really kind of funny. You hear all these people complaining about how, oh my gosh, I'm oppressed because I'm not allowed to do this. Okay, so she has Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz. So, I mean, Lenny Kravitz. Let me look up Lenny Kravitz net worth, and then we'll actually see how much she's grown up with, and how much awesomeness her life was. Lenny Kravitz, not LaKenny. Lenny Kravitz net worth. Yep, right there. Bada bing, bada boom. He's worth $80 million. So altogether, her mother and her father are worth $90 million together, and she's worth $10 million. So she has this $100 million net worth within her family alone, and we're supposed to believe that she was oppressed because she didn't get a small role in a Dark Knight Rises movie. And again, this right here titles it as a small role. Small role. Not Catwoman, not Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia, or Miranda Tate, as they call her in the film for the majority of the film. Not anything like that. For all we know, it could have been some passing role. It could have been one of the waitresses in the beginning of the movie, where they go and they just kind of talk about, like, and they're kind of gossiping in the background, or like, oh well, no one goes up there, or something like that. You know, it's a small role, and again, this is taking her word for it. This is taking her word for it if it's accurate. If it's accurate, then we have to realize that she could be telling the truth, but she could also be lying, because one of the most important one of the biggest trends in Hollywood right now is to just, oh, I was oppressed for my skin color. I was told I couldn't get this role because of my skin color. Hey, why don't you go check out actors like Chris Hemsworth and other tall actors? Hugh Jackman was nearly denied the role of Wolverine because he was too tall. Too tall. There are casting calls. People get casted for specific body traits, for specific physical traits that they can exhibit on screen. And then you look at the actual casting call for the Batman, which basically said something along the lines of casting call. I'm going to look this up real quick. Basically, it said, hey, we're looking for a actress of color for Catwoman, and hey, we're looking for an actor of color for Jim Gordon. Now, I'm not sure I can pull that information up. It was way back. It was a couple of years ago, if I'm being totally honest. But Jeffrey Wright was specifically sought out by Matt Reeves after another black actor fell through on the role of Jim Gordon, and Jeffrey Wright played Jim Gordon. I don't like the fact that he played Jim Gordon, because Jim Gordon from the comics is a white guy with red hair or brown hair. You know, but they specifically put out a casting call for someone of a different skin color for the purpose of casting a person of color or a black guy in the role of Jim Gordon. You know, if you were to put out a casting call for Black Panther and make it so that the actor who was going to get cast as Black Panther was a white guy, people would be up in arms about that. Obviously, people would be ridiculous. The guy who got cast as Black Panther, or the crew that was casting Black Panther, would immediately get ratioed by the left. They'd immediately get called out for all their racism and bigotry and all this other stupid stuff. And here Zoe Kravitz is complaining about not getting a tiny role, a small role in a movie that happened back in 2012, so almost 10 years ago now. No, exactly 10 years ago now. And her net worth is $10 million, and it wasn't even Catwoman. Now she's starring in a Batman movie where she's playing a race-swapped Catwoman. Because there was a casting call for individuals of color, individuals who have darker skin or of ethnic background to play certain characters that are supposed to be white, traditionally, in the comics. So there's no real reason for Zoe Kravitz to be complaining about this, but she is anyways. It's the same thing that she was just complaining about some sort of controversy in a video game, where there's this female character who is a healer, and she complained about that. Zoe Kravitz has been very complainative, and it's agitating. It really is, to just see someone with this much privilege as her, this much privilege, this much wealth, this much ability to do whatever she wants. Again, she has $10 million. That's about $10 million more than I have, okay? If there's one thing we're excited for in 2022, it's the blah, 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 Catwoman, and the new rendition of the Batman. Now, look, I think she was fine in the role, but she's obviously not too smart a person in real life. Otherwise, she wouldn't complain about not getting cast in the role when she has a net worth of $10 million and her parents have a net worth of $90 million. Again, altogether, within those three individuals, her father, her mother, and herself, they have $100 million in net worth. That's a lot less of a difficult lifestyle than someone like myself, who's grown up in the middle of nowhere and has kind of been on the sidelines viewing these things and watching actors make fools of themselves for the majority of my life, right? And it's a lot less painful for someone who has a ton of money to go through life with that money. Zoe Kravitz was born into a family that had a good amount of money. She was born into wealth, and yet she's going to complain about not getting cast in a tiny role. And again, it's a small role. She's only bringing this up, I bet you, she's only bringing this up to make it seem like there was some sort of racist bigotry involved in the casting call of the Batman, in the Dark Knight Rises movie. Where if you look at the Batman casting call with Matt Reeves, there is an explicit and specific call for individuals of ethnic background to play characters who are traditionally white from the comics. Like Jim Gordon, like Catwoman. Yeah, they're traditionally white. Now, I don't necessarily care about Catwoman's skin color. I think Jim Gordon should stay a white guy with darker hair, or a white guy with red hair, or a white guy with brown hair. But they've also, if you look at the rest of the casting calls for other things, you've race-swapped and gender-swapped characters from the Eternals. You've race-swapped Batgirl, who's another redhead. You've race-swapped Jimmy Olsen in that stupid Supergirl TV show. There seems to be a real hatred in Hollywood for people with red-headed hair. MJ, Mary Jane, was replaced with Michelle Jones in the Spider-Man trilogy that just came out through the MCU, and she was supposed to be a redhead. Now, they did change her character to be someone by the name of Michelle Jones, but she is Watson. So she is basically MJ Watson, Mary Jane Watson, but they changed her name to Michelle Jones. Michelle Jones Watson, a redheaded character, race-swapped so that they could get a person of a darker complexion in the role so they could meet those diversity points. That's all it is. That's all Catwoman is in this movie. You didn't need to cast a black actress in the role of Catwoman, but you did because you wanted to get some level of diversity. That being said, I don't think that her acting ability or her acting inability was necessarily detrimental to the Batman. I thought that the Batman was a good movie, but I think that her complaining about not getting a role in a movie that happened 10 years ago, and by her own words, if she's telling the truth, a small role, then it's a little bit pointless for her to be getting up in arms 10 years later about not getting that small role when she's just starred in this massive blockbuster movie like The Batman, where she plays an integral role in the story and is a main character in the story, and is actually part of some of the most interesting story that we've seen of Catwoman. Now, she's not the best Catwoman. The best Catwoman is still Michelle Pfeiffer, but I mean, come on. You can't tell me that she has oppression in her life when she has a net worth of her, in her own bank account, she has a net worth of $10 million, and she comes from a wealthy family where the father is worth 80 million and the mother is worth 10 million. You can't tell me that she somehow feels oppressed for not getting a small role in a movie that happened 10 years ago. And I swear, the only reason why she would do this now is to make people get up in arms about some sort of racist commentary from 10 years ago or something like that. It's ridiculous. I don't think it means anything in the grand scheme of things, and really, she shouldn't be getting the attention she is. But I felt the need to talk about it and discuss it with you guys because it's so ridiculous. It really is. And you need to swat down ridiculous claims like this or ridiculous accusations of deep-seated racism within Hollywood, something like that. Now, I do think that Hollywood is racist, but I think Hollywood's a little bit more racist towards white people because that's all that we hear about is how evil white people are today. So if anything, her getting cast in the role of a traditionally white character is racist towards every white actress who could have played the role and maybe even played the role better. Now, we don't know because, again, the last good white actress who played Catwoman was Michelle Pfeiffer. Anne Hathaway she was okay in the role, but she wasn't perfect. And I even find it ridiculous that people are getting up in arms about her, that she's talking about how impressive it is that she's playing Catwoman. Like, there's been 2 other black actresses who played Catwoman. You've got a black actress who played Catwoman from the 1960s, back in the 1960s Adam West TV show. And you've got Halle Berry, who played Catwoman in that terrible Catwoman movie. Now, that was a terrible Catwoman movie, but there's 2 actresses who were, two black actresses who played Catwoman in recent history. And if you take a look at Gotham, they cast a black actress to play Catwoman on that show. So I don't think it's necessarily a big deal for someone to get upset about her being black, being a black character, or that she's somehow trying to make some sort of claim that it's such a breakthrough thing for her to play Catwoman, when back in the 1960s, a black actress was playing Catwoman. Okay? It's a little ridiculous for this to be so much attention to be called to it. Yet here it is. Now, again, I thought the movie didn't suffer because of her. I thought she was actually pretty good in the role, but it's pointless for her to be bringing this up. If it's really just a small role and she was denied the small role because there was a casting call and there was a specific description of the character in that role, then it's not important for her to get up in arms about it. Oh well, they denied me because of my skin color. Because there were white people who could have played characters in the Batman from the one that just came out. And they were denied the ability to play those roles because this casting call explicitly said black character, black male, black female, something like that. That seems a little bit like the same thing she's talking about. It seems like it's exclusionary. Now, I'm not going to go on and on about this. I've already talked about this for 13 minutes. I've already repeated my points probably like 10 times. But I felt the need to respond to this because it seems so ridiculous and so wild and so out there and so pointless. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant. If you agree with me, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I've gotten like 1,700 views on one of my videos. It's so cool to see our channel growing. It's so cool to see our fellowship kind of expanding as we go along with this. It's awesome. It really is. You guys are awesome. I've gotten 40 subscribers. I never thought I'd get 40 subscribers. I know it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it means so much to me. I've said this before. If there were like 20 people who showed up and talked to me in person to get my opinion on things like that, I would be blown away. The fact that there are 40 people from all around the globe who are subscribed to my content just because they agree with me, agree with a guy who's rambling on and on about pointless things, it means the world to me to see that you guys are actually out there and supporting me like that. A special shout out to Dino the Wise. He's commented under a couple of my videos and he's subscribed right away. The dude is awesome. I'm blown away. Thanks, Dino. Again, you're a great dude. I hope to see you comment under more of my videos. And hey, who knows? Maybe someday down the line, when the fellowship is growing, some of the guys who have subscribed, some of the gals who subscribed, or whoever it is that subscribed, they'll actually be able to, say, hey, yeah, I was part of that channel when it first started out. I was part of that fellowship when it first began. It'd be so cool. Anyways, that's been me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It helps with engagement. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been Adam from Rants and Sweaty Calves, and I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.